Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the October meeting of the Rochester Land Bank Corporation. Before we begin, our secretary is not available at the moment. Maybe they will arrive here mid-meeting, but as is customary, we must elect a acting secretary or a secretary pro tem. Hey, I take that all back.
A lot of things. Oh, love your jacket. I love that. It's very nice.
Must be an error. Bill's is spelled wrong.
Bill's is spelled L-O-S-E-R.
Well, Madam Secretary.
I like Bill, they cool, we gotta get them to do this as well.
Someday.
Phase one.
Someday. That was fun. All right. Well, you get to be secretary as usual. So we will spare our regular designee.
Yeah.
And we'll jump into the agenda for the day, which as always begins with approval of our meeting minutes. Are there any comments, corrections, concerns, points for discussion? No. Do we have a motion to approve the September meeting minutes? Motion. Oh, moved, and I heard a second. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. Thank you. We will hand it over to Treasurer and Person reports.
Okay, so for the period September 23rd, the day October 20th. As far as disbursements, there were 8 invoices paid out to EMS Systems for security monitoring for $280. 2 invoices paid out for land bank staff reimbursements and the National Land Bank Network Summit. That was $1,538.49. 1 invoice paid to North Coast Property Association for property management services for $8,725. 6 invoices paid to RG&E totaling $225.59. And then 1 invoice paid to Rosario Home Improvements for rehabilitation at 61 Lime Street at $29,000. For the overall expense on our revenue versus expense report, same total, $39,769. And then revenue for October so far, $130,004.
Yeah.
Where's the 130,040? Where's that coming from?
I do not remember.
Okay.
I believe we had a sale that
Okay.
we put in revenue for. And then. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think we had any sold.
Was that the Rosemary or?
No, Rosemary's not sold yet. It's
Okay.
in process. There was one closing. Remember another thing that came in?
For Brooklyn,
For Brooklyn and.
Well, was it well? No, not well.
no, not yet, no, not Weld.
There were 2 that Joe was working on, right?
No,
It was not a homeowner property. I think it was one of the closings for. That we sold. Could it be one of the closings we sold online?
I don't remember.
We will get back to you.
Yeah.
Yes, and for the sake of disclosure, I did some moving around. Because we report based on posting date, again, last month it was the same thing. I was capturing activities that were posted by our accounting bureau. I did move those to the correct fiscal year, so they were late entries that showed up. But now I have done the work to correct those to the correct fiscal year not the posting year, which right now we know is 26. So that's why these numbers, fiscal year 26 quarter one numbers appear lower, but those are the actuals.
You know what this could actually be? This could be grant funds for reimbursement of salary. I think that's what that is. But I
The 130?
share with you. And it's so in addition to the 29 or whatever for the 20,000 for Brooklyn, the remaining, I believe, would be grant reimbursement for that July to November, September quarter. For that,
Did you make sure, just get back to me?
yes, I
Thank you.
Now, one of the disbursements is incredibly impressive. There's 6 Argini bills and somehow they only total.
Yeah.
And it's astounding.
Nobody-
Amazing. It's off to the staff. Show me how to do that.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
It should be
okay.
0, right? All right, man. Keep running that surcharge.
Right.
100% customer satisfaction.
That's all I have. Questions for the kid. For the sake of this school, I just think.
No.
Know about 501. Thank you.
We have 2 action items for the day. First one is resolution number 18, authorizing acquisition of properties at T5.
So this is our normal procedure in advance of the tax foreclosure sale. The land bank staff will look at the available list, long list, getting shorter though, and identify properties that we think might be appropriate for whatever our programs are. So we went through that, we identified quite a few properties. And the over 150 that we identified, we've sent them all up to be appraised as in accordance with the act that we need to do, so we can identify the properties and establish a market value. And so this is essentially just authorizing the land bank to bid on any one of those properties that makes it through. You know, a good portion of them will be redeemed, which is not a bad thing. But we hope that at least a few come our way, so we have some opportunity to acquire properties.
Just, there is the aggregate annual tax cancellation amount, we calculated all of this. But we can actually go up to 600,000. I'm looking at, let's see, the last whereas, then section 2.
So we have funds from the state and we have some ARPA funds that have not been spent. And we are able to bid, so the idea is the 500,000 is reduced from how much we can actually spend. So in fact, that would give us $1.1 million availability if we went all the way to 500,000. Because the city is able to give 500,000 of tax needs for it. So the 600,000 is what might come out of.
Oh, our land bank.
Yes, whereas the 500,000 is what you be given by the state.
The city's not gonna forgive any over its tax, and it can't. But the land bank can pay above the minimum auction price, which is the whole point. It's not to subsidize the purchase price and.
So that's
So
how-
we have a capacity of 1.1 million. Okay, all right, I guess for me it is. All right. Cool. Actually, purchase. Okay.
Questions? May not necessarily be completely about the resolution, but in general, for the foreclosure list, does that come out publicly now, or is that something that we just get?
So it was published in the Daily Record as of today,
Okay,
but the more updated, because it's a moving target.
yeah,
We had to get the ad in by last Wednesday.
For publication today.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the list now is already a week old, but it's published today, but tomorrow we'll start publishing on the city's website on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So that'll be tomorrow. I already have that list prepared this morning. Whatever gets redeemed today, I'm gonna vet it one more time in the morning before I post it,
So weekly basis up until when?
up until the auction.
Okay, thank you.
The week of the auction. We typically, I don't believe we do, I'll try and do it every day, but
It's just Monday. I mean, it's the
yeah,
next day is the auction.
because it's a moving target. It's never 100% accurate just because of, you know.
Yeah,
Well, it's
the
online.
minute you hit
It's
enter,
real
It'll
time.
be on,
It's a real time.
it'll be as of the day before, because
Yeah.
all of our, especially with the redemption payments, those take 20, because everything runs at night. So whatever we put on there today is from the day before.
I know this is not a big question, but since you're asking, since she's here, I wanted to ask you one more question. So if you have somebody that's on that list, right? They wanna pay their bill off, they come and see, and you know, that can post within the next day after they paid it, right? And then.
No, because we're talking about mainframe.
Okay,
So it takes, honestly, the mainframe for a payment to move from our central cashiers, payment, really any other source of honest. It's about 2 days, but we can see, especially the night before the auction, my staff pulls an all-nighter because we're going into all of the systems to find payments.
got it.
So it needs, this month before, we kind of just let it happen. If it's off 2 days, but as we approach the auction, we're looking all payment sources that have not posted to find them to get these properties off the list.
Okay,
Because at that point, you don't want to
that's
advertise.
good, that's good news.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I just wanted to understand your process. Thank you for that.
Once we move to a new system, we'll have better timing on everything. It's just, it's funny.
Thank you.
How are we looking on the first?
the numbers that we were earlier, I think, we're a little lower than last year. We're a little bit below 600 right now.
And we're at 584.
Oh,
as of
wow.
Friday.
Mhm.
And I would like to accredit that to, only thing that's changed that we said notices directly to the properties in addition to mailing address. But we haven't really seen the results of our work, our, interview for all the processor. So I would accredit it to delivering notices, mailing, directly to the properties, even if it varied from mailing address. Because this time last year, we were still over 800.
So like in the door mail delivery, plus mailing.
Yes, all your process servers is doing a hand delivery. And then we also have our regular legally required first class, but that's going to mailing address and property address.
That's good. Those council members was asking that we do that, so it's good to hear.
And we're making phone calls,
Skip Tracy.
we're making phone calls. But they, on your, as you know. On your process servers, gave us a list of phone numbers so we could get in touch with owners.
Great.
And we have come across folks who with all this mailing, whatnot, have no idea.
That's
So
awesome.
we're saying,
That's huge.
we're down
Yeah.
to 584 right.
That's huge, especially for our seniors.
Yeah.
And I personally this year, not to go on about this, I looked out for anybody that has a senior exemption, and I personally sent them a notice. I think I did that back in August.
Oh, my God,
Back in August.
that's awesome.
That's
Like,
good
you know,
news.
That's
That's
Great.
great.
that's all you have to do is run a.
That's great.
But having that sensitivity.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Cause what my fear was, it happened to me as a town. We got notice of someone who's gonna lose their home for $200, $300, and it's like, it's the worst feeling when you're there and you're ready to vote. And that's what's on the docket, that's what's on the books, and you're like, you gotta fight, and you don't want to, but you have to, and then you have to roll that stuff back, because you find out they didn't get properly noticed.
And then another thing that we added, thank you, Victor. Like we made our minimum $1,000. We used to do foreclosure, if we had a balance of $250. That's how we end up having those small dollar amounts that
it's not cost effective either, because we're running title on all
Right,
those properties to recover a $250 lien. And then they call in after the fact, and, you know, what's the point? Exactly. And then in a lot of cases, it would have been just the foreclosure fee. So they paid their taxes. Now we're foreclosing on a foreclosure fee. What's the point? We'd end up canceling it or finding a reason. So it just makes a whole lot more sense to have a threshold somewhere that's a reasonable number.
that's great news, that's awesome news. I'll tell that to my colleagues. They'll be happy to hear that.
Great. Any other comment questions? On this item, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second? Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Imagine those, so we.
Well, we're hoping so. Have an opportunity to get to.
Which brings us to our second action item for the day, resolution number 19, entering into a project agreement with Rochester Roots Housing Development Inc. The Affordable Home Ownership Opportunity Program project. Yes.
Yeah, so we're asking the board to approve, to authorize the land banks to enter into a contract. Enter into a contract with the HDFC formed for Rochester Roots for the AHAP project. This has been a long process along the way, but we're getting to the very end of it here. The HFTC was formed in connection with our development, which is Cornerstone. And they obviously is involved. And also the Monroe County is also have some money, ARPA money in this. We needed to form the HDFC to be able to have effective use of all the monies. The project is called Rochester Roots, and the entity is Rochester Roots Housing Development Fund Company. As well, easy to remember. So we're asking for the land bank board to authorize us to go into contract with them so we can get the AHOP program going. It's a 15 property project. 15 new homes will be built at below 80% of AMI. Pretty exciting program. There's some urgency to this because of the ARPA timelines.
I got one question. Is it because of the grant fundings, that's at 80%, not like maybe going down to 60% AMI?
So they're built to be affordable to 60%, but it depends on the funding source. Right?
So, yeah, it depends on the funding source. So AHOP itself, has a 60% target, but has a spread where if you are 80% or below, you can still buy that property. But the price of the property is affordable to even 50%.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's why I was at or below 80%, okay.
yeah,
So
just gets more people in.
Home allows up to 80%, but ARPA, when you don't do it under a home agreement, which may be the way that the county's funding is given to us, allows up to 60%, so it varies depending on funding source.
Got it. All right, that's cool, thank you.
Yeah, Andrew, gonna ask this question, I think I was on a. Previously, this accounts for. The fund, us being the managing, I should say, us, but the land bank, managing entity of the HDFC. As opposed
Managing
to,
or sponsor?
So we were a sponsor, it's sort of still, the management structure is still sort of being worked out. So Cornerstone engaged Harris Beach to negotiate with the law department here on behalf of the land bank to work out a joint development agreement. That's still in process. We've been sending those lines back and forth. It's close, but we're working out those issues now of structure of their board and those things. So more on that soon, but it's airing.
yeah, cause I just, whatever we're doing, and maybe, maybe in section 4 of this resolution kind of covers it, that whatever it's going to take to make the deal work, the executive director has
Right.
And I just want to point out, at the end of last year, the board did authorize the land bank to enter into a contract with the ESL Foundation. ESL is contributing some funds, grant monies to this too. We have a representative from ESL here. I want to make sure we.
Those funds are coming to the land bank, or land into the.
But that was last year, that's all.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Excited to see this one get going. Do we have a motion to? So we have a motion and a second. All right, moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Great, all right, that takes care of our action item for the day, and we have one, at least on paper, discussion item, and that is an update on the strategic planning process.
So we have received essentially a final report from our consultants. They came and presented to various stakeholders that they interviewed. I know that not all the boards were able to be there, and we'll start to forward the strategic plan if the items, and there's something in the plan that needs to be modified there further. We'll do that for the final structure of the plan is essentially in place, and they have provided also a PowerPoint presentation, if you share that broadly. The rollout is, we are acting in a way that to some extent is taking into account the ideas and the plans that were in place or that were recommended as part of. We're not focusing exclusively, but heavily in working with the city, they're recommending. We are arranging to have some grant funding available for some of the capacity building activities that they have recommended as well. But the rollout really needs to be coordinated between the building and the city itself. And so that is something that we'll have to bring the board appropriate to. But I do have a copy. It's very similar to the one that I forwarded to.
Any comments that were made to them? So. Any of those comments incorporated into this final?
Yes, so the things about the
Definitely the vacancies, I'm the most concerned about.
the vacancy going down.
Yeah.
They did mention the poverty level was.
Yeah, because
They did also take into account the information that you were back about.
yeah, but I was most concerned about if they had been stating that vacancies were on the increase and are actually on the decrease. So I really wanted to make sure that that's something that was reflected. I just think it's important. I don't know.
Yeah, and some of the other feedback that we gave, I'm just curious, and take a look at this.
And I will forward you.
We also shared like guidance on measurements. They actually provide.
They did not. Their recommendation is that we partner with an entity like an educational entity to help us design how we're tracking our success.
Tracking, but measurements, larger measurements that we track against, and they didn't make any recommendations.
Is that, so when I forward that to you, you can.
Yeah, I'll take it, yeah. I was looking for their expertise, see if they can give us something.
So they want just to partner with an educational entity for the measurements that he's talking about?
Yes, as much like the, they reference the LEG program but
tracking and coming up with measurements are two different. You know, and I don't know that there's an educational institution in Rochester, you know, understands what we're doing and can come up with a measurement part that can help us with the tracking. But,
Yeah, it's the chip, that's gonna be strong.
Okay. Any thoughts on?
Will the mayor, has he already, or has it been presented? to you?
not formally, there is certainly been presented. Communications. Not ready to. There, but certainly that is what we're getting back. Which I.
Yes, yeah, I think we want to bring this up. Okay, anything else to discuss? Anything more? Please go to the board.
Question, in the past, we would circulate lists of foreclosed properties. For the input of neighborhood associations as to properties that might be particularly important to preserve for neighborhoods. And possibly put in the land bank, I don't know if you considered that. I've never seen it posted publicly to neighborhood organizations in years, I know that those who contract with. For certain things, get lists, but I don't know if you circulate to.
We haven't the last couple of years. We don't have the ability to use the trumpet any longer. So we don't have, there's no guarantee of any properties we're going to get. The property selection hasn't really changed. We do try to, we're looking for vacants in the property, for long-term vacants. If there's strategic properties, we do get input from the NSC officers. If they have properties that they're requesting, then we try to get hold of them. But we haven't done that yet, and so it hasn't really been a list that we can publish because we don't have a list that we can say, we're intending to bid on these properties. We're essentially just another face on the crowd now. Just gonna go through the list and it shows up, it shows up. No, I guess it would be good to, if there's properties that you're aware of as a neighborhood group and a neighborhood entity, let the NSC officers know if they are.
That's what I was taking from there. Thank you. That's helpful, because for example, in Southwest, we're running projects and trying to match seniors who have multi-story homes that are not successful with finding one-story homes where people need those others. And so that's something that the neighborhood services industry should be identifying to you as particularly important, and also problem properties in the community that just keep flipping and continue being problems, and that we could get that out of that notation.
Yeah, we'd have to break that. We'd like to break that into, you know, the problem properties are certainly one that be very important. The other ones, the one story and stuff, but there's not that many we can deal with, and with such demand when they come up, we would love to get. So to make sure we get good.
We don't want y'all business.
Yeah. And them too. We understand. But you know, we do. Yeah. Our consideration.
The service administrators, properties that are vacant, they're actually.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And another good thing to know is much closer to the neighborhood. So if you know of a property that's vacant, somebody who's, maybe they're elderly, it's too much for them to handle. We are always on the lookout for a good purchasing. So if that's the case,
Should let you know.
let us know. Yes, yeah, and we'll reach out to them and try to make a fair offer.
That's how we can do those. And then watching state puts, like, because we know the senior passes, and then once the stuff happens, then some that shows up owned by a planning board. Process. Sometimes we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we have that. Probably be able to do it properly.
As we said, first list.
Auctions every November 18th. That's the Tuesday.
Now, on the city's website, on the real estate. treasurer,
It's under treasure. Or things to come.
February first.
February 1st.
They apply February second.
Yeah, we're ready to start preparing tax bill.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's, that's RPTL, real property tax law.
Yeah.
Here, one second.
Any kind of question, see if probably deadline during the year. And I know I never said you had that written. Yeah, well, that was the assessment bureau, and on their end, they were trying to do more outreach for those activities that they take care of, but yeah, they were trying to be more proactive about contacting folks. They had set up a dedicated hotline now, separate from the main line. That was all this show.
Tax exemption. Trucks. Just what tax exemptions are would help on my individuals.
You know,
I can share that. You know.
apply for the. There is like a recertification process every year. I believe so, but that's assessment, not how many. Okay. State works. Right, that's enhanced stock. Enhanced STAR.
Yeah, there's a star exemption, and then there's a senior citizen exemption. People kind of use the term exemption interchangeably,
Call
they're
it-
two separate.
In our system, it's called the age dog exemption,
We can,
but yeah, they're actually two.
And then there's other exemptions too.
Right. Well, there's veteran,
There's a thing.
yeah, there's religious or educational institution, ministry,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't go get ordained or anything. It's not significant. It is of note, yeah. It's a small amount.
A local city.
Get that online, like.
I got ordained, I don't take these. So, yes, yes, you can't just go to the. Have a city hall.
We learned something new at the church. Anything else for the floor? Not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we stand adjourned. So.
I'm sure.
I can take care of this.